Leanna is not here. She was supposed to be attending, and we did do a little cake and stuff in the back for her at the end of the meeting in case she came up. We used to eat cake anyway. So it'll be back there at the end of the presentation. It's in the kitchen, yeah. So we'll bring it out. So like I said, we're going to get started. We got 5 members present. We're missing who missing Lee?
Leslie and Emily.
Yeah, we're missing 2 people. They had to attend the school meeting tonight.
Okay.
So they're not here. So
We have quorum.
We got enough. And so I do want to make one change. I'll have to recommend the interim report about the ordinance that we're considering. So it'll be at the end of that my report at the final end down on the agenda. So we'll be making changes. Okay, so the first thing on the agenda is selecting a new president, a chair for this committee.
We want to go back and adopt the minutes first. From last
Okay,
meeting
sorry.
first.
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I make a motion.
Thank you.
Thank you. We do need a second.
Second.
Dan?
The minutes are approved. Thank y'all.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and bring it on.
Bree,
Do we, oh yeah, sure.
When's
So
the
we need to
nominate
nominate the new,
Chair.
so this is my last meeting,
the chair.
right?
Yeah.
No, it's not your last.
It's not?
meeting. No, not unless you get elected to be chair of one of the other positions.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, I thought this was my last since it's been 3.
no, it's not your last.
No, I'm
You
happy.
got
That's
what
great.
you
That's great news. That's great news. I was going to be like, well, we'll eat cake for me and Dan, but I guess we're staying. So we're hanging out a little bit longer.
Yeah.
That's good news. We'll take it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this process started. So we're going to be electing a new president for our Parks and Rec Advisory Board today. Does anybody have a nomination?
Great.
Oh, no, I'd like to nominate Claudina, actually. I'm serious. I'm not qualified.
You're doing a great job.
Do we have a second?
Second.
What we doing?
Are we doing president now?
We
Is
had
that
a
okay with
yeah,
everyone?
yeah.
And I really am nominating Claudina because I really.
Okay.
You
All right.
accept?
So are you seconding
Yeah,
Yeah.
hers or hers?
Breeze. I'm
Breeze.
seconding Breeze.
Okay,
for me.
just keeping up.
That's why I shouldn't be president.
So then we
we
need
That's
a
not my
vote.
brain
Then we
works.
need a vote, right?
Yeah, well, you accept?
How are we doing the vote? Hand
Do you
vote.
accept?
Yeah, hand vote, hand vote.
Okay. So I guess whoever's nominating wants Bree to be president, raise your hand.
Oh, no.
No.
For
She
Claudina.
nominated me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then
No.
Claudina, whoever would like Claudina to be president, raise your hand.
Thank you.
Okay.
Great.
Congratulations.
Does
Well, I
that
don't
mean
know
you get to
about
run the rest of the meeting? Because that would be great.
Yeah.
That's good news. Do we need to vote on
And then
any
we need
other?
a vice chair, right?
Probably.
Yeah. So I nominate Dan.
Sure, I'll second Dan.
I'll accept.
All in favor, or yes?
And we need to back up a minute here and show of hands on the adopting the
The minutes.
the minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, I made a
Oh,
motion.
sure, yeah.
Oh, the
Claudina
was
made a
second.
motion.
Oh, the
second.
Dan
Dan
seconded.
second.
And we all
We
approved.
We all approved, yeah.
All approved.
We're all approved.
I thought we were deciding.
Claudine, Joshua?
Oh, my God. No, she's, oh.
No,
So I
if I
start
don't
right
have
now?
to.
Go ahead and start, Claudia. Time like the president.
Much better
Comment.
follower.
Yeah, you back.
Do we have anybody from the public right now that has signed up to speak? Okay, all right. Next item is, well, we've done the president. So the next item is the update of the skate park and the Kevin Loftin of the play unit, and that will be zipped.
The skate park is going to be presented by Ms. Amy.
Of the skate park, Miss Amy?
Oh, the skate
No,
park.
no, no.
My man's out.
I didn't know that.
I mean,
You did that also,
I'm
Amy.
Discombobulated.
Okay, so it's the skate park.
The skate
So I think
park,
that's you.
The skate park right now, we're still in working on the design for that skate park. We did come up with something, we had to do a site plan for the site located right over here off of 12th Street. So the company should have that site plan ready for next week, and it will go to Spartan Ranch and for them to draw up the plans, actual plans for us to start construction on that. So that's something going forward. And you guys have seen the last design that we had, the last meeting that we had, so where it hasn't been any changes or anything
Okay.
like that.
That was gonna be my question, was there any
No,
changes to
no
the
changes.
design?
No
Okay.
changes to the design or anything, so.
It's just the location and the site plan that's going.
We had to get a new site plan because of the topo of the area has changed a little bit. So
The topography is a little bit different.
So we had to come up with, and they had to do a topo board, so that'll be ready, like I said, next week. To send this farm ranch, and then out that they'll actually get back to drawings to start the construction of that project.
Okay.
Okay, great. Does anybody have any other questions about that? Skate park? No? Okay. The recreational center, I think that's ZIP also.
Okay, the recreation center, we did have a meeting the other day, and we're moving forward with that project. Hopefully we get started on that sometime in September or October at the latest. But that is an ongoing project. Nothing has changed on that project. Also, it's still the same. And you guys have seen the plans for that. I think in the last several meetings.
Was there some question with the kitchen setup being changed? Casual conversation with one of the council members mentioned that there's some cost trade-offs going on, and the kitchen may be a full or not full.
We're not doing a commercial kitchen. We're doing just a warming kitchen.
Catering kitchen.
Both upstairs and both downstairs. And so if a caterer wants to come in, a caterer can still come in and warm up the food and serve the food out if they want to. And that's a cost savings for us to not have a commercial kitchen. So we did come in slightly, well, I won't say slight over budget, we came in a lot over budget. So we had to cut some corners, and that was one of the corners that we cut. And one of the other things we did too, we did have 8 volleyball nets that came out of the sky. Now we dropping down to 2, and we have those other 6 in storage that we can bring out when we have large tournaments and events and stuff like that. So that's kind of the cost savings that we had to save money for the construction of the recreation center.
Does the rec center still cost the same amount, or has the cost jumped up a little bit because the cost of the materials and the stuff like that?
We got approval of around $13 million.
So that's a little bit more, but good though still. Okay,
Mhm.
good.
And when are we looking at groundbreaking? Because I know we had originally spoke
It was
about
June.
August.
We're looking for September, October, somewhere in that range.
Okay, thank you. All right, ZIP, the Kevin Loftin Park again. This is ZIP.
And, in your package, I think you'll see the design that was invented by Carolina Playboom in there. Kind of just want to get you a gauge of what you call. These has also been sent to city council. A lot of the city council like that design of that Playboom also. So we want to get your opinion.
So it's the one that's on this page?
Yes.
Okay. So that page.
And this is kind of just a conceptual design. We still will meet with the company. We don't have a real price list on that yet. So we'll get with the company after this and tell you guys, see this kind of in the ballpark of what you want to see over there.
Okay.
Megan, I'd like to get your opinion
Yeah.
for ADA compliance.
Well, I do like, I believe there's 2 swings now. So, I mean,
Yeah.
is this just a conceptual design or actually like all the accessories and pieces are what's been accounted
We
for?
can be able to mix and match just about anything we want. That's kind of a conceptual design.
Okay.
What you have for.
Okay.
Do we
And-
have a budget at all? Ballpark?
Ballpark,
Wasn't
I would say
it-
around 250, 300.
What quarter of, okay,
I don't know.
okay.
Ballpark.
And are the heights still the same for going underneath the playground structure from what we discussed at
Yes.
the last minute? Okay.
Mhm.
So as long as those heights are still the same, that accommodates for like a medium to large pediatric wheelchair, so the kids can still kind of roll underneath. Are we still doing the mulch terrain?
That'll be a separate thing, separate cost of the
Okay.
books. If we do that $250,000 range,
Mhm.
we gotta see how much that's gonna be over for adding the solid surface.
Got it. Okay. So this would
hopefully
be
with that price that I said that we've been solid surface also. But like I said, all these are just as conceptual drawings. I don't have a price figure yet.
Okay, so the
What do you
solid
think?
surface would be this.
Oh,
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So the solid surface would be what's shown, kind of like this gray.
Right, yeah.
That would be really
It's
nice.
gonna
For,
depend on the price.
Okay.
And again, all the stuff still gotta go to city council for their approval. They didn't like the conceptual design. So
Okay.
they still gotta go back to city council at the next month's meeting.
okay, because this terrain would be best for any kind of equipment, not even just wheelchairs, but gait trainers and all sorts of things for kids to kind of go around with.
From our past conversations too, to add on to that, we had talked about how solid surface, while it costs more up front, is a lot cheaper than maintaining it and replacing the mulch after the fact, year after year after year. I don't know, if we've compared those costs, but I know we've all talked about maintenance costs. Council's talked about maintenance costs, and that was one of those areas that's kind of bucks the conventional wisdom of spending that money up front so that you don't have to spend tens of thousands of dollars every other year for years after.
And we did take that into consideration. I think when we moved forward the project of redoing Stowe Park with just solid mulch, so
Okay.
that'll be something
Right.
that you guys do want to see. So we did get approved to do that. So that's probably starting in the next couple of months.
Good.
In doing Stowe Park.
So I guess I would like to make a motion to recommend to council to consider that and not quickly cut that one out for this park as well, because we did learn that with Stowe Park as we dug into those numbers closer, and maybe that fits here too. We might need to compare the actual numbers for this specific park, but none of us want to have unexpected extra maintenance costs going forward, especially when we're replacing a play unit that was an unexpected cost itself. So
Do we need a motion, or is it just like a,
I'd like to pass the
Recommendation.
recommendation on, kind of
You wanna
officially,
make a
or
motion?
yeah.
what's the motion then?
I would like to let council know that we
Consider
consider
solid surface.
consider the solid surface both for ADA compliance and also cost benefits in the long term for maintenance reasons.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Everybody second? And can we vote?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that because
Okay.
being proactive
Carries.
over reactive long term, you always save money in the long term. Yeah.
They look a lot better in a lot of ways too.
And I want to ask city manager, did I leave anything out on that? Anything you want to add to that?
For the Caromont Park?
Yes.
It's my understanding that the solid surfacing is part of this proposal.
Oh, good.
The council appreciated what you had looked at last time, but wanted to make it a little bit bigger, and a little bit more fitting into that natural setting. So we think that this is modeled after the one in the downtown park.
Yeah.
Also, this is more spread out, more overall area. So for this thing, kind of spreading kids out, but also allow kids to play on it. So if you're, this is what
All right, good. Okay, thanks, Brett. Item number 4 is the open space ordinance presentation from the planning department. Hi.
Hello, I'm Peyton Rashford. I'm with the planning department. And I'm here tonight because it's not really a presentation, it's more just like kind of a conversation. But we have been directed from city council to update our open space ordinance in our land development code, so chapter 7. And I'm here tonight because I'm putting together a steering committee to try to help me with this, try to get different perspectives on how we kind of want to do that, the direction of this text amendment. So I'm here to ask the board if there would be any volunteers that would want to join this steering committee. I think we're going to try to finalize the group by the end of the month and then start meeting at the beginning of September. So that's, I don't really think it would be too time consuming. I think for the most part, we might meet like once or twice a month at the beginning. And then as we move forward, probably a month, every month or so. We're kind of targeting to take this through the approval process to planning board and city council targeting beginning of 2022. So we're looking about like a 6-month process. So if you definitely have time to think about it, if you want, Laura has my contact information and said she'll send it out. But if that's something you're interested in, I would definitely appreciate your help and to get a perspective from a Parks and Rec side of things. I'm going around to all the boards to try to help get volunteers, just so we can have a collaborative effort on this text amendment. So definitely just let me know, and I would really appreciate it.
What does this do today? Or I'm not familiar with the open planning.
Open space, yeah. So open space is a requirement that we have in our text amendments or in our land development code. So whenever developments are coming through, they may have to meet these requirements. So normally, like if right now the ordinance says if you're developing a development 8 lots or greater, you are required to have X amount of open space. And there are definitely different ways you can do that. Sometimes it's a playground, sometimes it's a parkway, greenway, something like that. But we're trying to kind of figure out different and unique ways that we could do open space, specifically in the downtown area. So maybe incorporating some public art or maybe even commercial open space, because right now we don't regulate open space or commercial open space. So it's just kind of be like that. There are private or you could do common open space normally, which is deeded to these developments. But also there could be public, which the city could eventually take over if dedicated to the city. So that's just kind of why I'm before you guys, because parks are involved or they can be involved, but that's just something right now that we are working on.
I would definitely be interested.
Okay.
Me as well.
Okay, awesome. That is perfect. Thank
Great.
y'all. And I'm sorry, I've never been
No
to this board, so I'm not familiar with who y'all are. So if y'all could just contact Laura
Sure,
and
will do.
I can get connected and get you on the list, that is awesome.
Perfect.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. The dog park of the presentation, and we have Amy, right? Hi, Amy, welcome back. You're welcome.
Hi, everyone. My name's Amy Bossard. I am a volunteer with the Design Committee and also a member of the joint committee between the Design Committee and Park and Rec to get a beautiful dog park built in Belmont. So let's see if I can do this. All right. Okay, you did, everybody have a printout of
Yes.
the, okay, cool. Let's just start with, this is the second presentation to the Park and Rec Committee. I'm pleased to return with further information after we were asked to get it. So a group of us met at the dog park site, which if you're not familiar where it is, if you look over your left shoulder through the trees next to the, in front of the Water Authority and next to the Baptist Church, that is our lot. So if you look at, is there a way to move a mouse or cursor with this, or?
You can try with that touchpad that's on the keyboard there. It may show up.
Okay, yeah, it's not. Okay, so that's okay. I don't want to spend too much time on that. If you look at the big rectangle on the left, towards the bottom, you can see that is Catawba Street. There's parking spaces, including ADA, along the bottom of Catawba Street. Right now, it made sense to move that there because it's already gravelled. There is a corralled entrance there, and at the excuse me, where the walkthrough will be from this building, kind of through the woods. So there's 2 entrances. It's corralled. One side is going to go into the big dog park. One side is going to go into the little dog park. Generally, when we plan dog parks, you plan for 2/3 of the space to be for large dogs so they can really get their run on, and smaller dogs, excuse me, require about 1/3 of the space. And this is pretty close to that. It's pretty close. There's 6-foot fencing around the whole park. There's going to be several poop stations in there that the city will be cleaning. Hopefully everybody, and in the poop station will be poop bags, and hopefully everybody will also bring their own and be good citizens and good neighbors and good dog parents. This is, we could go through the nuts and bolts of this if you'd like. It's pretty basic. This was put together by the planner at Withers Ravenel after a lot of discussion and input from the joint committee between Design Committee and Park and Rec. So that's the overview. Do you have a question?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
I was at the council meeting of the last, couple weeks ago, and they talked about the joint committee from us to you. And I spoke with a couple of the, with the council, with the board people, and I didn't know that we had one. So which one of our members are on?
I am.
Mark, and I think,
Oh, okay, Mark.
Yeah.
Mike.
So,
Mike, I'm
Mike,
sorry.
That's okay.
The Michael Mark, okay. So we weren't getting the monthly reports and stuff like that, so I didn't know that. And I called a couple of other people onto the board too here, this
I
or the
wasn't
board.
getting any reports either.
There really, honestly,
There hasn't been.
there weren't
Okay,
reports.
so we, okay.
We got together, we had a great walkabout, put our heads together, and I think it felt like, although I wasn't there, I got hurt. From what the notes that I saw and the comments that I saw from the people from my end and then from Mike was that everybody felt like their needs were being met.
Yeah, it was a very constructive meeting over there. And
Were you appointed then as part of our board?
well, I
No,
Zip asked me if
but
I
no,
had the
it's
time
fine,
to
yeah.
do it, and I said yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, great, okay, all right. We
Yeah.
didn't know, but.
That's okay. yeah.
Any other questions?
Continue.
Okay, thanks. Next is, that's graphic is about the fencing and the gates. Basically, everything is 6 feet tall to prevent any dogs jumping out and running into Catawba Street or any of the neighborhoods. So you can look at that. Anybody have any questions about that?
Is it the double fence, like where you have one entrance that's kind of contained?
So
In the
the
second.
entrances is corralled. I'm sorry, I wasn't very clear about that. So you go in and there is a door that you go into and then there's another door. So there's
Okay.
a little rectangle
Sure.
where you have a minute to, if you're coming out, you have a minute to put your
Leash
dog
or
on a
unleash.
leash.
Yeah.
And then if you, excuse me, if you're entering it, you have a minute to take your dog off the leash, close the gate behind you, and then
Great.
open the gate. And yes, that's what that is.
Great.
So yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Okay, so let's look at the budget. So the total budget for phase one is $58,702. That includes the planner, dead tree removal, and luckily, there's only a few dead trees that need to be removed. The planner and we were all really interested in keeping the big, beautiful live trees to provide natural cover. There's a little bit of brush removal, but we were hoping we could call in maybe the Boy Scouts or some high school kids that need to do some community service. Water line locate and connect, a water fountain that is ADA compliant and dog compatible, and I'm visualizing the one that is similar at Stowe Park.
Mhm.
Great. Fencing is going to be $26,000. ADA parking space with ADA compliant connection through to a porta-john, water fountain, and upper entrances will be $7,500. The ADA paths into the dog park interior bench area will be $650. Seating and mulching will be $500. Rule sign is $908. A small dog gate sign and a large dog gate sign will be $120. Pet waste stations are $1,500. Bags are $50. Trash receptacle is $1,514. Inside signs, $160. A dog park welcome sign is $300. Shipping and taxes, about $2,000. And benches are $2,800. And that adds up to $58,702. There are future phases that add up to $16,298. That is a plan B, and we're just not there yet. I will tell you that, excuse me, the design committee And the Main Street Association has raised $11,750.27 for the dog park, and that is in the coffers. So does anybody have any questions?
Well, I have a side to the question. Like I was at the council meeting, so it wasn't clear that the council actually approved of the site. So has the site been actually approved?
Yes, I believe so.
Or the council did that as a vote?
Yes.
Oh, well, I missed that vote. Oh, all right. Well, because Mrs. Stowe raised the thing about the possible need for the parking because of now with the rec center, the skate park. And
Well,
other
that's
things.
why the
Well, that's
planner
why you
came
have
up
that.
with the parking at the bottom versus what
Right.
we originally thought at the
Right.
top.
So it was voted on a site.
Yes.
All right. Okay, good.
As a clarification, the council has not voted on the site.
Thank you.
It's
No.
been presented to the council, but it's not, they've not.
They have not.
They're waiting for, since it's the part, they're waiting for this board
Uh,
to
the-
make a recommendation on it, and then they would vote on whether or not to proceed.
Adrian, I'm so sorry. Thank you for clarifying that.
All right.
Okay, what other questions?
Just to clarify, the parts in red and yellow, those haven't been accounted yet in the budget?
I'm sorry?
The parts like the security camera, liability, the things that are in red and yellow, those have not been included
No.
in your estimate for the budget?
Not yet.
All right, do you guys have an idea? I'm particularly concerned about how much like liability insurance would be for a dog park and who that would fall onto.
That would be something that I think Zip could speak more about. This is more of the actual nuts and bolts of the park itself.
Okay, okay. Because that might be a hidden expense that kind of really comes up.
I mean, that's something I definitely can check on. I don't
Okay.
have no figures right now, but I'll
Okay.
have to get with the HR,
Okay,
who handles that. Get a quote.
okay. Yeah, I believe that would be important. Just really curious because who knows how much that could be, or if it'd be like dog owner to dog owner, or if someone's going to try to come after the city for it, especially if it's like a city
Right.
park. So it's something to consider.
I've got a question about the fencing. It's a small question, and kudos to all your work on this. Plans have definitely come a long way. My question is about the height of the fence,
Yes.
and is 6 feet enough?
Yes.
I have had, owned, and known dogs, and we had a dog loose in the neighborhood last night, cleared 6-foot fences pretty easily, and so I've got a little bit of a concern about that. It's 6 foot's a typical height and covers most dogs. I'm not sure how many exceptions there might be and what dog parks normally look to cover, especially when it's near a street. And I'm also wondering a little bit about the topography and if there might be a hill or something. I've had dogs that could climb fence trees nearby and scoot their way up like Jackie Chan. We don't want that, but I don't necessarily want to make it super easy for a dog that can maybe only jump 4 foot to have a 2-foot hill to lead off of or something. And
Yeah, so those are good points to bring up. We were pretty insistent, very insistent on having a 6-foot fence for a couple of reasons. It's more unusual for a dog to be able to scale a 6-foot fence. There is owner responsibility when they're in the park to keep an eye on their dog. Every dog park that I have been to and looked at had fences that were between 5 and 6 feet high. That's kind of an industry standard.
okay.
What's the fence at in Mount Holly?
Tuckasegee.
I don't think at Tuckasegee, I don't think it's 6 feet. I think it's probably 4 or 5.
Thank you.
I have another question, Amy, too.
Yeah.
With the previous to the chair, we really spent a lot of time on the cost of the maintenance. So I kind of noticed that in the bottom, do you have any idea about the maintenance of the cost and stuff like that? Because doing of the new parks are great, and we love a dog park, so it's not like any of us, think not. But we really don't want to begin all these other new parks if we don't know maintenance-wise what that maintenance budget is.
That's something I'm going to actually put back on your team because that's under the either the bailiwick of Park and Rec or the city.
Okay.
That's
So
not
I-
an answer, but that's my answer.
Oh, sorry.
Let me mention, we did discuss that several meetings ago about the
Mhm.
cost. We did compare to what Gaston County did it, and it didn't put a great impact on Gaston Recreation Department's funding for that. So we did take a look at it. I forget.
Are you okay?
Like I said, it was several meetings ago that we did have those figures out. And I think they came and it took them about an hour to clean up the dog park. But I had to go back and find those numbers because we did go over that.
Yeah, we chatted about it.
Yeah, we did chat about it before.
Okay.
And it wasn't, it's not gonna greatly impact what we're
Great.
doing now as far as maintenance.
Okay, great.
Do we know how many linear feet of fence this is? Not square feet, but I'm thinking of just in terms of the Public Works team, the work that they've got to do. That's a lot of weed eating. Linear feet on fences is
We
usually
had
one of the things.
1,280 on the thing here.
Yeah, I saw that, but that was, and is that the total perimeter, or since we've got the two in between?
I think
And,
it's only
you know,
partial.
it's that might be one way to kind of quickly gauge how many labor hours are we looking at and cost for that, or,
I think that was all included in the cost of the fencing.
no, I'm talking about when somebody goes to trim it, the maintenance
Oh,
side of it, yes.
Sorry.
I'm just wondering, and at a high level too, you know, just casually viewing this lot, I don't get the sense that this is a lot with all the trees where the grass grows terribly fast. So weeds might be an issue, but maybe it doesn't need to be mowed quite as much, especially if there's dogs running all over it
To your
too.
point, it is, most of it's pretty well covered, so it's not going to need a weekly mowing.
Yeah, I would
Um,
think so, but
I
What
have
other
a question
questions?
about, and maybe this is for you, Zip, about the waste management. Would that then fall to Parks and Rec to handle waste management if there's poop stations that people are disposing of?
That will be under the Public Works Department, the
Okay.
maintenance department. to do that.
Okay, so that would be included in the maintenance.
And like I said, that's incorporated, using what the gauge on what Gaston County did. It only took them about an hour to clean up those facilities, those dog park facilities.
Okay.
So it'll kind of be the same buzz, and I think theirs is a little bit bigger than what we are proposing.
Okay.
What
Let me
kind of
ask you-
time frame would that be? Daily?
They did theirs daily, yeah, they were batching it daily, yeah.
Is there like a need for any type of like surface material in there? Like I think about like Tuckasegee gets kind of muddy sometimes.
Yeah, so this is another reason that it's a great site is that it's grass
Hmm.
and kind of weedy and
You don't experience a lot of erosion in that area. It's been
I don't know. It's on a hill, so the water's
It
going to
seems
run
to-
down.
No,
I
it-
think some plantings
It's
along.
existing, so I don't see any problem with erosion because it's already there, and if there was going to be erosion,
And
you'd
there
see
were-
it.
Yeah, and there are also mature trees there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
very mature.
Comment first and then a question afterwards. First of all, I like the fact that the parking lot was moved back toward Catawba because that's originally what I had brought up to the board about
Okay.
using that gravel space. So it'll definitely save on costs, right? So I like the fact, I like the layout. My question would be, is if we've got a proposal, do we need to come up with a motion to approve the site
So you make a
What about the
recommendation.
cost though?
or recommendation
Yeah, I
Yeah.
kinda
to
have a
approve the
cost
site?
question too.
It would be the recommendation to approve the site.
And you said, you mentioned cost.
Well, I was mentioning the costs. So
Yeah,
they've
'cause-
raised $11,000,
Plus, yeah.
which is a bit, but would we be paying for the balance of it?
Yes, if they don't come up with any additional money, we don't get any kind of grants or anything for it.
Grants are soft money, it's not hard cash.
Yeah, the grant fell through, I thought.
Yeah,
Oh, the grant fell
I'm sorry.
through.
Explain to me what soft money is.
It's when you apply for the grant, but you don't know that you're really getting it. So it's
Yeah.
kind of soft money. Hard money is the amount that you have right now.
Okay,
You
thank
know,
you.
the cash on hand.
Okay, and yes, the grant, we did apply for the Pet Safe Bark for Your Park grant. It did not work out this year. If we can talk about applying again next year, and there are also other dog park grants and that we can go after if you guys are up for it.
And let me one additional comment. The city already maintains that site for mowing, so we already got maintenance on that site.
Okay.
already.
Okay.
Good point, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Point.
It's a great site. I mean, it's got a really good slope to it. It's not steep. It's,
Right.
I don't think we're gonna have any problem with erosion or anything.
Or
like that. I
with
think
flooding.
it's a good site.
Yeah. Or
It's a really good site.
What other questions do you have? Okay.
The requirements for the dog to go in, will they need to be vaccinated, have their shots?
So here's the thing. Sorry, that's a little informal.
No,
Um,
Okay.
Yeah, so most dog parks, any dog park that I've ever been involved with, and those are cities like I was involved in the dog park in my neighborhood in New York City, and also in Portland, Oregon, where I lived. And every other dog park that I've been to has a sign asking for your dog to be current with rabies. They have to be current in rabies to live in Gaston County, to be spayed and neutered. Vaccinations, hot topic. We would prefer to have dogs be vaccinated for kennel cough or be titered for kennel cough. I think that also goes back to who our customer is going to be. And we want to encourage good dog parenthood. So,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, unless somebody's going to be really there to monitor it, or, we have to download vaccination records, it's really just about being.
No, I understand that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
They're responsible.
Yeah, it's a good question, though. And I think that's something when we go to make their rules board that needs to be on it.
Because that may come back in a liability issue. That's why I'm asking.
and then we may need an enforcement policy to, with teeth, kind of like we do with our professional trainers and things that use our fields. We can't just have a rule. We've got to have a mechanism to enforce it, either to call Belmont Police or some small fine or something
So
like
one
that.
of the things, so one of the things on the, that we had, when several of us got together and talked about the rules board, we talked about putting, obviously the police phone number on there, other than 911, but also Gaston County ACE, because they'll be a great resource for us.
Well, we have to recommend to council then to create an ordinance that the police can then potentially provide
it's
a penalty
part of
or
the-
fine for.
I'm sorry, it's
And
part of
that's
the
not
process.
to stop us from doing this. These are additional pieces
these
of work
are-
that we're going to have to do if we approve it. I think it
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily have to be solved tonight, but
Right. Okay, what other
Okay.
questions do you have?
I've got a couple. It mentions in the red box things that aren't on the list yet. Pavilion, and I could envision. I live up in North Belmont. We've got the dog bar up there now. I could envision people wanting to congregate in a pavilion. This is actually next to maybe Stowe and Davis, one of our more shadier future parks if we approve this. Shade, it's only getting hotter out there. I'm wondering if we might need to prioritize a pavilion in there at some point in time. Might not get built initially, but partly pavilions, as we lease them out, they help offset costs, bring in a little bit of revenue. Usually our pavilions don't pay for everything, but not even close. But we've got some future things that you'd like to have in the park as well, not for the first phase, and that might help there, or it might help with the labor or what. So I'm wondering if we need to consider that, maybe even as a priority over obstacle courses. Personally, just to let everybody know where I'm at, I'm happy with the first column and applying the money that you've raised to get the first column started. As we get into future stuff, my priorities start to shift. I'm not right off the bat a proponent of an obstacle course in there yet. I could see one someday, but I think that's something where private fundraising might be better spent, and we might need to consider a pavilion, partly that's a lot of acreage, and a pavilion might be a useful thing in there.
Well, I believe we talked about shade sales at that meeting at the site,
We did.
but I don't see that on here.
I apologize. I don't see that. I think actually we talked about passing on that because the trees are so mature that there will be plenty of shade. And I think that was, yeah, I think that's what came out of that.
Okay.
And if I may say something, and that's how I sit here thinking, we got that nice canopy down there, so a billion right now, I don't think we need it right now.
Well, exactly my thought. If we did
Well, I
it,
think he was kind of thinking ahead.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
thinking congregation, doggy birthday parties, whatever it might be.
Like the thirsty
You know,
dog.
we're filling up the dog bar up in North Belmont on a
Or the
regular
thirsty
basis.
dog,
And, you know, I wouldn't put it, you know, I wouldn't want to take away from the potential of the park to be successful by only going with, you know, the minimum of, you know, people could go walk their dogs there right now if they wanted to. We're just trying to provide a safe place to have fun, but there might be other things that can be
Oh,
done there too.
there's endless potential.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree that, you know, taking out some of the obstacle courses and things like that for right now to save for fundraising would be a pretty prudent option, especially if we can think about some of the other things, like even a security camera. Like, I don't know, my head just keeps going back to liability and things like that, and I think a security camera would be very important, especially to dispute
yeah.
cases, and that also might help save the city some potential lawsuits.
I would agree on the security camera for all the parks.
Yes.
And on the other hand, I do like the photo booth, as long as we get some City of Belmont branding in it. Literally and seriously, you know, that's social
Yeah.
media. Yeah, I mean,
Monetize it.
we're going to spend $98,000 on it. The city needs to get credit for the $98,000, as does your group too, for the money that you're raising as well. So,
what other plans do we have for raising more funds?
Well,
Yeah. We were looking at for the city manager.
I think there's a lot of options out there. Let me just leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a ton of options. We're a super dog friendly community. I own a dog business in town that I just think there's a ton of options. What I really am here to ask for is
the motion.
to make sure that we're all on the same page. And that you guys are interested in whatever the procedure is in moving forward with this, approving it so we can get it to council. Let council do their magic, and then we can make some great plans.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page. I think we all agree that we need a dog park.
Yeah.
My only, you know, as long as if we're gonna have the subcommittee, and apparently you're on Mike's, or so, maybe as we're moving forward, give the board,
Give us updates.
give a month, like a monthly update when we meet on where we're at with this, so we're not, you know, we're kind of not, you know, in the dark.
Yeah, we haven't had too many updates. That's been
Really just been,
my issue.
it's really just been the walkabout
Right.
that you guys did at the
And-
park, and then having the plans made. So I think now, if you will recommend it and we can move forward with the process, I think we can meet a little bit more frequently and then be able to give everybody updates, which would
Okay.
just be the best news.
Sure. Go ahead, Dan.
I
I'm sorry.
like the land, and I think that's where, I mean, we've talked about a lot of spots, and I really think that's a good home for it. So I guess I need to make a recommendation. don't I?
You need to make a motion.
Make a motion for to recommend.
Dan, how do you
to
feel
city
about
council.
So
how do
we
you
need a
feel about
motion.
the money aspect, though?
We're not talking about money
I'm
right now.
not talking about the money. I'm just talking
Just
about
want to
the
actually
land.
approve
Land
of the land
recommendation
right now.
Let's approve the land
The money is really going to follow that.
for the park, or the potential of the land for the park.
Or
So-
the potential of the land
Okay.
for the park.
So
okay?
help me state this. I want to make sure I state it in the right way. I will make.
Dan is making a motion.
would like to
Sorry, I
make a
jumped the
motion.
gun with that, Claudina.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion that the area that we've been covering is, what is it, 2 acres that's
proposed
adjacent
site
to the water treatment plant, be used for
For
the
the
dog
future
park.
dog park.
Future dog park.
I'll second it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we have Bree second,
I'm
and
good.
was everybody for it?
Yep.
Unanimous
We got,
passage.
if the city council approves it, then we just lock that down, and then we just
Well,
move
then we can
forward
talk about
with,
the money.
with the money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Good to see you. Thanks, Amy.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Amy.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, we have other business now?
Yes, and I do have one other thing.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
And what I'm passing out to you guys is an ordinance, for the skate park. And we've kind of briefly been touching on this, as we've been speaking, and I want to wait to the end to give this to you guys. And this is for liability, we've been talking about liability, so this will cover us when we do the skate park. So you can read over this. This was done in another city, it was done in Hendersonville. We kind of followed what they're doing, lead on that. We made it suit our situation here.
Okay.
And this will be presented to the city council for them to approve this ordinance for the skate park.
Okay. And you'll be doing this at the next, the meeting,
At the next
September
council
7th?
meeting. Yes, next city council meeting.
So we have to read this now?
You can look over it.
Okay, okay.
And one unique thing about this is stating that it will be unsupervised. So we'll have to have the rules and regulations up and everything stating that you're at your own risk. That's what this says.
So just to clarify, this is like the proposed ordinance that the council will vote on?
Right.
Okay. So. That's a lot to
Can I
read.
add just a little bit of background on that? So, I met with our liability insurance provider, Loftin Park, who's been approved for that, and mentioned to her that we were working on a skate park. She was on statute,
96. Oh.
21 through 25. There's a lack of recreational opportunities for what the state considers hazardous recreation, which is basically inline skating, skateboarding, like because of the current liability. So because of the liability insurance, but governments don't engage in like recreational opportunities, so there's a lack of opportunities from the state. So the General Assembly basically puts in a decent liability for governments if they have these types of park and recreational opportunities, as long as they follow certain rules. And so the rules are spelled out in the statute. So as long as we comply with that, then that's what this draft ordinance is handed out. As long as we do this, we don't have a conflict of supervision at the skateboard park, we post all the rules, then we're not liable as a city if somebody goes there and breaks the law and gets hurt.
Oh, okay.
As long as we're not, as long as we make sure that we're maintaining the park, we have it posted, that we're okay. So we have, the city council has to adopt the ordinance, with the full, comply with statute, and then, it reduces our liability. So it's just procedurally, code of ordinances, which doesn't require a public hearing or anything like that, so it just goes straight to city council. But I wanted you to have the opportunity to look at it and just to let you know about it before we take it.
Okay.
So
Great.
it's not required that you recommend it, I wanted you to know about it, and you're comfortable with us proceeding. We need to get this, we need to get it adopted before the park goes, which will be 7 months, we just want to get that in place.
Okay.
Before the signage should be ready for the park.
Okay. Good. All right, so,
And to follow up, last Saturday at the Stowe Park, we did have our back to school celebration along with the police department.
Yeah.
And we gave out, I call these the soft bags, we got hard backpacks, and these are the soft ones. We gave out about 100 of those at the event last Saturday. That event, there was a lot of people there. So,
and I also think we want to actually acknowledge Bree
yeah.
with,
It was just me. It was all-
Caromont Health.
It was my money,
Yeah.
actually. All my money.
Caromont Health.
I gave it. Came right out of my paycheck. That looks so nice.
Well, it probably did, Bree, so.
That's really good. Look at that.
Oh, the Caromont Health.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
Very cute.
It's very cute.
So say this does say City of Hendersonville.
Yeah,
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 I
change
told them
that.
that. We were gonna change that, okay.
These little things get overlooked.
Yeah.
So you make
He
that
just
change.
wanted
How
to see
embarrassing.
how with a shark we were. All right, do we have other business?
No, just a comment. I really enjoyed Rocky Branch, the opening.
Oh, it was wonderful.
It was wonderful. I went out there later on after the buzz and I walked the trail and really enjoyed it. And I really like it. If you haven't been out and walked that trail yet, I highly encourage it. It's a good time.
Dan, is it a separate trail for walking and biking?
It's the same.
What's the same trail?
It's the same.
Okay.
I did note, the bikers were very polite. They're coming up on you, bikers to the left,
Yeah.
so you
The
move
walkers,
over.
yeah.
It was still crowded. I went out there in the evening time, but it was really nice. And if it hadn't been so far, I just kept on going to Floyd and Blackie's. I did the trail. I went all the way out and came back.
Yeah.
It was very pleasant. Enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the rest of the development. It's really nice. So kudos to the Trailblazers. They've done a really good job. Kudos to the city. They've done a fantastic job with that. I really like that.
Beautiful.
I really like what we've done, or what the city's done, and what we've accomplished together. So I just wanted to mention that. Good job.
So if you got a copy of the Belmont Banner, the Dan was on the front page.
Aww.
So was Claudine.
And so was the mayor, and so is Brett.
A few others.
Right.
Oh, Jim.
They were all out at the post
We were all
office.
on the front page
Somebody took them all, I guess,
of the Belmont
in
Banner.
people's living rooms or something.
For these
Yeah.
guys to sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan's been handing them out.
Yeah.
Signed
Yes.
copies.
Yeah, kind of Dan.
Signed copies, there you go.
No.
All right.
Nice.
Does anybody have anything
I
else?
do want to follow that one thing.
uh-huh.
Adrian might have to get me on this too. We may get some additional money for the skate park. It's got to be passed through the House and the governor's got to sign it. If we do the bill, an additional $150,000 for the skate
Dana,
park.
the Baumgartner, or the was of the person
Yeah.
that pushed that through.
So it's still got, like I said, still got to go through the Senate, got to go through the governor. If that's approved, then we'll get an additional $150 for the skate park. And I already reached out to Spawn Ranch, asked them.
Oh, good.
Add to that. And they said the blueprint of the print of 5,000 square feet is really a small for a skate park, but we can enlarge it.
That's
That
awesome.
way, we can add bleachers to the site,
Wow.
water fountains and those amenities like that.
Yeah.
That additional $150,000 if we get it. So hopefully we'll get that additional money.
Wow.
And Spawn Ranch, they also said that it's a 2-week time frame. They need to start on the drawings for the skate park. So we got about 2 weeks. So hopefully we may get something in that 2 weeks time frame on that money, additional money. And also coming up on August 27th, is the Park and Recreation Trust Fund grant. We'll know something on that too. That was $500,000. So we'll know something about that on the 27th.
That'd be real sweet.
If we get that funding or not. So.
Okay.
In
You
the
have
last-
anything else?
So sorry. In the
Okay.
last meeting, when we were talking about the skate park, wasn't there like a little BMX, like, not trail, but like a little BMX thing off to the side? But we said we nixed that because it was too expensive. Is that something that could be included?
The proposed, yeah.
Yeah. If we
well,
got that extra money, or would it just go to the bleachers and water
talking to
fountain?
the guys in Spawn Ranch today, they did not like that
Yeah.
for some reason. He told me why, but it was kind of over my head, but he did not like adding that out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
That's fair.
I'll take his lead on that, but I can do some more research if y'all want to find out the reason why.
Well, I like the idea of expanding it, making it a little bit bigger.
Mhm.
City branding again. Anywhere we can.
Anywhere we can bring.
Those
Yeah.
kids are going to be
Anywhere we
doing
can.
videos and pictures and for the tricks
Tournaments,
that they're
maybe.
doing.
Yeah,
Well,
Let's
speaking
be
of
at those videos.
expanding the city, we had a great outing at the pop-up park, August 7th, over down in my neighborhood. We had a pretty good turnout, and just they look forward to doing it again.
Right.
So there was mention of that, so we just keep that in mind for whenever that can happen.
Yeah, we're gonna try to do more of those. We're currently now looking at the school calendar, and when school is out, we're hoping we'll be able to do some mobile recreation or pop-up recreation, whatever you want to call it.
Great idea.
At some of those times, so we're gonna try to expand that a little bit more once we get into the school season.
And that'll be all posted on social media?
Yes,
So people know?
yes.
Okay.
Did we ever get the new pickleball lines drawn for the?
No,
He
the
said
guy said he
October.
couldn't come to October
It's October.
for pickleball lines.
Okay.
And I've already contacted those guys to do that.
Okay. Does anybody have anything else?
No.
We need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Mike, the second, Brett. The meeting is adjourned.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.